Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a spiritual text that tackles a battle we all know too well, the one happening inside our own heads. We're going to see how this internal fight isn't just about finding some inner peace, but about unlocking a purpose that's, well, cosmic in scale.
So here's the journey we're about to go on. We'll start by facing that chaos in our minds head on. Then we'll look at the two main roads you can take to master it. And from there, we'll zoom way out to ask the really big questions. What are we, really? What is the true nature of our soul, and what's its ultimate role in the universe?
All right, so our journey really has to begin with the mind. The source material we're looking at presents it as the central battlefield for anyone on a spiritual path. It's kind of funny, it's our biggest hurdle, but it's also our most powerful tool.
I mean, does this sound familiar? It sure does to me. This is the core problem, right? Our minds are just these non-stop desire factories, churning out wants and thoughts and impulses, pulling us in a million different directions at once. The text really asks us to just stop and confront this restless energy.
Now, what's so interesting here is the incredible paradox it presents. The very same mind that gets us stuck in these cycles of desire and consequence, what the text calls bondage, is also the only thing we have to get free. The source of all our suffering is, believe it or not, also the key to our salvation.
So, how do we actually do this? How do we fight this battle? The text gives us this core concept called Purushartha, which translates to the supreme spiritual effort. And this isn't some quick fix. It's the constant, moment-to-moment work of steering our mental energy away from useless things like worry or ego and pointing it towards something much, much bigger.
And here's a brilliant, practical example of how this works. The text uses the analogy of a student during exam time. The mind is like a restless kid. It just wants to play games. But then the intellect, our higher reasoning, steps in with some logic, or tarkam. It just lays out the facts. Hey, if you play, you're going to fail. A whole year, down the drain. And you know what? Convinced by that simple, clear logic, the mind shifts its focus to studying. It's the same principle in our spiritual life. We have to use our intellect to gently guide that impulsive mind.
Okay, so we're meant to use our intellect to guide the mind. Great. But what does that actually look like in practice? Well, the source text lays out two very distinct paths to get there.
So you have two main approaches here. On one side, you've got the path of devotion, or bhakti. This is really the path of the heart. It's all about focusing your mental energy on one single point of love and reverence. Whether that's a deity or a guru, it's about purifying yourself through surrender. Then on the other side, you have the path of knowledge, or jnana. This is the path of the intellect. It's a disciplined inward journey of meditation and sharp self-questioning, designed to just cut right through all the illusion and understand who you really are. And while both paths are perfectly valid, the text really puts a special spotlight on knowledge. Just as this quote says, knowledge is seen as supreme because it allows the soul to finally see itself for what it truly is. And through that direct recognition, it can literally step outside the endless cycle of cause and effect of karma. Now, this is super important to get. These paths aren't rivals. It's not one versus the other. The text actually shows that they're sequential. Think of it this way. The path of devotion, bhakti, is like preparing really fertile soil. It purifies your heart, clears out all the weeds of ego and distraction, and only then, in that beautifully prepared ground, can the seed of true knowledge, or jhana, actually take root and blossom.
This brings us to the ultimate destination of both these paths. We've been talking a lot about the how, but let's shift gears and really focus on the why. What is the whole point of all this effort?
And the text couldn't be more clear about this. The greatest, supreme spiritual effort, the absolute most meaningful thing a human being can do, is to recognize their true self. This isn't just some philosophical idea. It's the finish line of the entire spiritual journey. And this is where the teaching takes a really fascinating turn. It suggests that to truly know ourselves, we first have to understand what type of soul we are, because apparently there are two fundamentally different kinds out there. So on one hand, you have the Hadu Atma, which means the limited soul. And on the other, you have the Behad Atma, the unlimited or boundless soul. And the text is very clear. The difference between them isn't just a little bit. It's absolutely massive. Let's just break this down. The limited soul, the Hadu Atma, is said to be born from the 5 physical elements. Its consciousness is tangled up in the world of illusion, what's called Maya, and its goals are pretty personal and small scale.
But then you look at the unlimited soul, the Behad Atma, and it's a completely different story. Its origin is cosmic. It's born from supreme light itself. Its consciousness isn't trapped. It's always reaching for divine knowledge. And its goal isn't personal gain, but something way bigger, the welfare of the entire universe.
So what does it actually mean to be a Behad, or unlimited soul? Let's explore the incredible power and the grand purpose that's tied to this nature. According to the source, this amazing power isn't always obvious. It's latent, It's kind of hidden under all these layers of conditioning and ignorance. So the spiritual journey for a Behad soul is really a process of peeling back those layers to uncover this brilliant core of supreme light inside. Now, to help us wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this, the text uses a comparison that is just mind-blowing. The latent power within just one of these unlimited souls is said to be greater than the power of billions and trillions of suns combined. We are not just talking about a little bit of energy here. This is a foundational, creative force of the cosmos. So, how might you recognize this nature? Well, Behad souls are naturally drawn to big, boundless ideas. They find themselves becoming detached from the temporary, worldly stuff that used to seem so important. They feel this deep, innate power to help not just themselves, but everyone, the whole world. Their deepest mission, their life's purpose, is what the text calls Vishwa Kalyanam, universal welfare. And this is where all these huge cosmic concepts come right back down to us, here and now. What does any of this mean for you or for me? The text wraps up with a very direct and a very powerful call to action. You see, the final call to action isn't to just sit around and wonder which one we are. It's to decide to adopt the perspective of an unlimited soul, to consciously choose to align ourselves with that boundless potential and to go after the knowledge that awakens it. It's a huge shift in identity, from thinking of ourselves as a small, separate person to being an agent of cosmic purpose. And so we end on this question from the source, and it really reframes the whole purpose of being alive. It asks us to look beyond our personal goals, and it asks if we're willing to dedicate our most fundamental resources, our time, our thoughts, our very breath, to a mission of universal transformation. A pretty profound thought to carry with you.